It's the morning of December 18th, 2024. Inside Oklahoma State Penitentiary, deep in the H Unit, a concrete tomb built for silence and isolation. Kevin Ray Underwood sits on the edge of his bed. It's 10 a.m., and for the next 24 hours, every minute of his life will be scheduled, observed, and ultimately ended. Now, not every state in the U.S. practices the death penalty, and the ones that do each have their own playbook, but the script rarely changes much. From the moment a prisoner enters death watch, the machine moves forward. No glitches, no delays, just a slow and methodical countdown to the final breath. Kevin Ray Underwood isn't just a name pulled out of thin air. He's a real man. His crime? The brutal 2006 murder of a 10-year-old girl named Jamie Rose Bolin. He was convicted in 2008, and for the past 16 years, he's been waiting for this moment. The moment when the state will take his life in return for the one he took. 34 days before his scheduled execution, Underwood was relocated from the A unit to the H unit of the prison. This transfer marks the beginning of the execution protocol. He was strip-searched, X-rayed, and moved under tight security. In some states, multiple transport vehicles take different routes just to avoid any chance of an ambush. It's a little theatrical because it's never actually happened. Now he's housed in a cleaner, quieter cell just steps away from the execution chamber. It looks like any regular prison cell. A bed, a toilet, a shower, and a desk. But this one is sterile, cold, final. In Oklahoma, Amnesty International has described the conditions in H Unit as inhumane and degrading. For many, it's not a holding cell. It's a tomb. From now on, a guard watches Kevin constantly, not to keep him from escaping, but to keep him from taking his own life before the state gets its chance. The last meal isn't what you think by noon. Breakfast is brought to him in his cell. It's a basic prison tray, nothing out of the ordinary. Lunch and dinner follow the same script unless it's the time for his last meal. Now we've all seen the movies. The death row inmate orders lobster, steak, a gallon of ice cream, one last decadent moment. But that's not how it works. In Oklahoma, the last meal comes with a $25 budget. That's right, $25 to buy a final taste of freedom. In other states, the limits vary. $50 in California, $40 in Florida. And some states, like Texas, did away with the practice altogether after one inmate ordered a feast and refused to eat any of it. We don't know exactly what Underwood requested, but you could probably look it up. It's public record, even documented on sites like Wikipedia. Face-to-face with the end later in the day, if Underwood chose to, he could receive visits. But once those visitations end, he's mostly left with two people, the warden and the chaplain. The chaplain, regardless of personal beliefs, is there to provide spiritual support, to pray, to talk, or simply to be present. That presence matters, especially when silence feels like a noose tightening with every passing hour. Many prisoners spend the final night writing letters, reflecting, or just staring into the dim cell lights. Some manage to sleep, most don't. The morning routine. The guards wake him. He showers for the last time. A new uniform is issued, fresh and clean. Every prisoner also receives an adult diaper, not out of humiliation, but as a precaution. The moment of death often causes the body to release its contents. The diaper isn't for comfort, it's for dignity. Once dressed, Underwood is given a breakdown of the schedule. Meanwhile, just a few feet away, the execution chamber is being prepped with the precision of a medical theater. IV lines are checked, the gurney is cleaned, and every second of the timeline is rehearsed. There's no room for error. Witnesses arrive. With 2 hours left, the people who will watch him die begin to arrive. There's usually a mix: family members, lawyers, journalists, and occasionally, the family of the victim. They're taken to a viewing room. Sometimes they sit together, separated only by rows of chairs and emotional baggage. In others, they view the execution through a one-way mirror, unable to be seen, but able to see everything. 1 hour left. The warden returns and walks Underwood through the final steps. Then, with a nod, the guards handcuff him and lead him down the hall. It's a short walk, but the weight of it is almost too much to comprehend. No resistance, no drama, just quiet footsteps down a quiet hallway. Inside the chamber, the execution chamber is stark. A gurney sits in the center. That's where Underwood is strapped down, arms out, legs bound, torso secured. A heart monitor is attached. Nurses search for veins. If the prisoner is stressed, those veins can shrink, making it difficult or impossible to find a spot for the IVs. That's rare, but when it happens, it makes everything worse. They find the veins. 2 IVs go in, one for the drugs, one as backup. The lines snake through a small opening in the wall, leading to another room where the executioner stands. Underwood stares at the wall phone. That phone is his only hope. If it rings, it could mean a stay of execution, a delay, or even commutation to life in prison. But it doesn't ring. The warden draws back the curtain separating the chamber from the viewing room. Everyone can now see Kevin Ray Underwood. He can see them too. He's offered a chance to speak. He might apologize, proclaim innocence, or say nothing at all. If he chooses to speak, it must be brief and respectful. The warden holds the mic. If it crosses a line, he pulls it away. When he finishes or chooses silence, the warden nods. The drugs begin to flow. The executioner begins with the green-labeled syringes. They contain midazolam, a powerful anesthetic. It's given in massive doses, hundreds of milligrams, far beyond what's needed to sedate a healthy adult. The goal is to knock him out completely. Midazolam floods the brain, silencing neurons. It also makes breathing difficult. It can create the sensation of drowning, though most prisoners lose consciousness before that sensation becomes clear. Then come the orange syringes. Vecuronium bromide, a paralytic. It stops all voluntary muscle movement, including the diaphragm. Breathing ceases. The prisoner is now completely still, appearing calm even though their body is dying. Finally, the red syringes. Potassium chloride. In small doses, it replenishes electrolytes. In this quantity, 18 grams, it stops the heart. Instantly, violently. It scrambles the heart's electrical system until it seizes up. Underwood is declared dead around 10 a.m. on December 19, 2024, his 45th birthday. For the prison staff, the work continues. For the witnesses, the walkout is long. For the family of Jamie Rose Ballin, nothing really ends. Kevin Underwood confessed to planning his crime for weeks. His motive was beyond horrifying. He wanted to kill and eat a human being. That human turned out to be a 10-year-old girl. He lured her into his apartment, assaulted her, and then took her life in a way too graphic to repeat. His guilt was never in question. Even Underwood didn't deny what he did. But his legal team argued that he suffered from severe, untreated mental illness and shouldn't have been sentenced to death. Still, the jury saw it differently. Whether you believe Underwood deserved death or not, what happened in those final 24 hours reveals something deeper, not just about him, but about us. It raises questions about justice, revenge, morality, and what it truly means to end a life, even the life of someone who did something monstrous. The death penalty isn't just about punishing a person. It's about a system, calculated, rehearsed, and clinical, carrying out the ultimate punishment. And no matter where you stand on the issue, there's no escaping one fact. It is, at its core, a ritual of life and death, and the uneasy silence in between. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, press the subscribe button, and also drop your thoughts in the comment section.